So the video is called The Double Helix, I believe, and the producing organization is the Howard Hughes Medical Institute, which I'll just continue to abbreviate as HHMI. You'll notice, you may have noticed they have some accompanying videos in your mastering for different topics. This is like the gold standard for sort of production science videos. And what you need to focus on from that video, and like I said, I think it's just called The Double Helix. The woman who narrates it, speaks very quickly. So don't feel bad about pausing her and taking notes or looking over your notes. You need to focus on the people, because there are some important people that I'm going to ask you to remember. In particular would be Watson, Crick, Wilkins, Franklin, Chargaff, Avery McCarty McLeod, and Hershey Chase, and maybe a little bit about Griffith, which I'll talk to you about. I'll walk you through tomorrow or maybe Wednesday. So you should focus on the names of the people and what their particular contributions were, because the focus of this is the structure of DNA. So you'll need to know the structure, meaning you'll need to know the bases, the nucleotides, how they're arranged, and the DNA is double-stranded, complementary, anti-parallel. That's mostly what the video is about the discovery and the science that went into the structure of DNA. So is chapter 16, imagine that. So chapter 16 is called the molecular, it actually has a name, like the molecular basis of inheritance, and that's what it goes through. It goes through the structure of DNA. Yeah, they've been uploaded, Andrew. They're open. They're in the next unit, and it's all green. It's all published except for, I think, one of my lectures I haven't published. So look under the module, unless you're in HOL 1, because sometimes when I say to do things, it doesn't always copy them correctly. Oh, you are. So I'll double check, Andrew, but I'm pretty sure they're all open and available to you. They're just in the next module. So the chemistry you need to know for this, the people, the chemistry, and then the main topic is replication. And this is a difficult topic, which is why I've included drawings on your note outline, as well as probably, I think, 2 videos about replication. That is not discussed in the Howard Hughes Medical Institute video. That's all about the structure. So chemistry/structure, replication, and then the last bit of your chapter is actually about the structure of chromosomes. I removed that from your reading list. So if you want to read it, great. I'm not going to ask you questions about histone proteins and how the DNA is wound up and what the sizes of the various fibers are. Like I said, I think that's great. I think it's interesting, but we don't have time. So I took that off of the reading, and I also am not going to include that in any of the mastering homework, if I can muster some together for this chapter. So that's 16 and 17 are my goal for this week, and beginning of next week, I think. So, and that basically falls into, so in chapter 17 is called From Gene to Protein. This is the whole module. This is kind of like a preview. And so the big processes that are in chapter 17 are transcription and translation. And then also translation, also mutations are on that at the end of that chapter. The next exam will be 16 and 17. And I'm looking for that to be on Wednesday, the 1st of July. We are off. I have it's incorrect on the outline that I gave you the first day. We are not off. I thought we were off the 6th for the 4th of July, but we're actually off Thursday, the 2nd. So that day there will be no Zoom meeting or anything due. So I would kind of like to have that quiz on Tuesday or Wednesday, and kind of have that all tidied up before the holiday break. And then when we come back on the 6th, we'll be starting the second to last module, which is the evolution module, and then hopefully get a little bit in about bacteria and protists before the end of the semester. The last quiz will be on the 15th of July, I think, is our final exam day. So that's kind of how I see the rest of it playing out. Okay, so then right now what I would like to do is I would like to turn it over to, if you guys still have questions about any of the genetics problems, because they're due tonight, and our quiz for Mendel, I believe, is tomorrow, right? It's on Tuesday. And remember, there's gonna be 2 quizzes. I will load those today. And the one with the problems, I will probably open that up as soon as I get it loaded. And it will be, I'll try to send you an announcement, and it will be available over the course of the next at least day, if not day or 2, okay? The timed portion, remember, is going to be short, and that will be multiple choice and matching, focusing on sort of the practical portions of chapter 14 that we discussed, Mendel's laws, you know, definitions of the words, pedigrees, all the stuff that we went through, like the more of the language and the theory, and then the problems will be that second piece. All right, I could probably, let's see, I could probably check if HOL, well, I can't do that on the iPad, so I'll have to do that after class, Andrew. I thought they were uploaded for HOL1, but maybe not. All right, so does anybody have any leftover questions about the genetics problems, either that you sent me an email about, or you just are thinking about today because you're sitting down to do the second set and you're like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what to do, because I could help you. So if anybody has any specific questions about those problems, go ahead and shoot.
So number 2 on the second set of problems.
Okay.
Just, I don't know, I'm having a really hard time with that for some reason.
All right. So what do you have so far?
Hold on, maybe I can video this. Hang on, so it'd be easier to show you.
Let me stop sharing my screen then and see.
Well, I don't know if you can see it.
It switched to gallery. Oh, wait, I see you, Melissa.
Hi.
All right. Hi. All right, let me see if I can make that bigger somehow. So that looks to be like you're on the right track.
Okay. So it's going forward, it's just the same. Outer, it's first, outer, inner, last is how you start the F1, right?
Correct.
And then how about when I move down to F2, is the same?
Yeah, yes. So for the F2, did you end up with 9331?
9331, right?
Yes.
I wrote it differently, but yes, basically 9331.
So 9/16, 3/16, 3/16, 1/16.
Right. But I did the ratio thing. Does the 1 have to be at the end, or does it not matter as long as
it doesn't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's just, usually that's the way people do it, because it's a quick, you can just like zip down and go, oh, that's all there, right?
Okay.
So no, that looks good. I'm just gonna go through part of it with you just to be sure.
And number 3, I'm also, that whole
incomplete.
Yeah, incomplete. The pale spots, I think, is just kind of.
All right. All right. So let's go back to number 2, and just real fast. And I'm just going to do kind of an abbreviated version. And someone asks, when mating with F2, do the F2? So that's no. So ish. The F2 are always the offspring of an F1 crossed with an F1. You can't self-fertilize the F2 with an F2 because they're all different, right? Or there are 4 different genotypes at least. So that's the quick answer to your question. So as far as number 2 goes, though, with the tulips, so petal shape is inherited as a Mendelian characteristic. Curled petals are recessive to straight. So I would probably choose S for straight and 2 little s's for curved, right? But you don't have to choose those letters. You could choose a capital C and 2 lowercase c's. That would be fine as well. It doesn't really matter what the choices are. It just matters that you use them correctly. And we already had in problem 1 the flower color, right? So pink with white stripes is dominant over yellow. So I would make pink, P for pink with white stripes, pink with stripes, and then 2 little p's equaling yellow, right? So then I'm ready to start up the actual figuring out what the parents are for number 2. True breeding tulip for pink. Thank you. True breeding for pink with white stripes and curved is crossed with true breeding yellow straight. What will be the F1 appearance? Okay, so true breeding gives me, remember, true breeding equals homozygous. So a true breeding pink with white stripes. So that's going to be big P, and the leaves on that are curled petals or curved petals. So big P, little s, crossed with.
No, it's not.
What do you mean it's not? That's what it says. True breeding for pink with white striped and curled or curved petals. They're not together. Mated with yellow and straight. Yellow and straight, right? And Ish, the answer to your question is they always self-fertilize in Bio 1. So don't worry about it. Come to genetics, learn more about it, right? That'll be in the fall. It'll be so exciting. So this should be the parents for your, for the first cross to get to your F1s. And of course, in the problem, I would expect you to show me your Punnett square. And then to the left of that Punnett square, to the right of that Punnett square, they're all going to be heterozygous. And then for your F2, to get to F2, the question asks, what will the F2 look like? And so to get to an F2, it's always an F1 crossed with an F1. So it's this. And Melissa, you were correct in saying that it's going to be, I should make this larger, but this is all the space I have because I wasn't thinking straight. Right, so 1 parent across the top, and we're going to do that first, outer, inner, last. So capital P with capital S, capital P with lowercase s, lowercase p with capital S, and then last, lowercase p with lowercase s. Right, and that should be the same then down the side.
Okay, well, I'll come in and get the stuff. We're not done running errands.
Capital P, lowercase s, lowercase p, capital S, and then little p, little s. And that should give you 9, 3, 3, 1, 9 16ths, 3 16ths, 1 16th, 3 16ths, 3. You should have 4 phenotypes here.
Hey, it's fine, Sam.
Right, and you're always going to have purple. They're always going to have most of purple, and you're always going to have the most of purple and straight, and then you'll have 3 of the mixed, sorry, pink and straight. So you would have pink with curved and yellow with straight, and then you'll always have only one of both of the recessives, yellow and curved. Yes, it would always be 9 3 3 1.
He was down there with you. Yeah.
Yeah, guys, can you mute? 'Cause you want to be, your children and all of your conversations will be recorded for forever.
What?
And then, so that's how that number 2 should work out. It should be always on the F2 generation, you should end up with 9 to 3 to 3 to 1.
Well, there was only 3. And my mom ate 1, I ate 1, and me and my mom split
Okay.
it.
So besides that, I have another question. So here's my other silly question.
It's either 3 or 12.
Hang on, I'm gonna
If
pause.
you can hear me over that.
I can.
Okay.
Yep.